Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I love every time we get together because she gives guys the insight from the other side. And we're talking about if you're a guy, you're dating, you're looking for a meaningful relationship. She's got all the answers that women don't really tell you, or the perspective that you're not going to get anywhere else. And she's with True Connection. Tamara is back on the program with us. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Hi. Oh, I'm so glad to be back. Our topic is so hot and meaningful. I'm really excited to dive into it.
So much, in fact, that this is part 2 of conscious dating. We started talking about it last week. I was unaware that you run that deep in terms of how you help people or help guys realize what's going on in relationships, dating, people that they meet. So before we dig back into it, how do you define conscious dating?
So conscious dating is being intentional and present when you date, which is something that we never do because of our subconscious mind is driving our bus 95+% of the time. So sitting down and getting your conscious mind in the forefront so that you are present is really difficult, especially if you found someone you like, because you really want to stay in that romantic, delicious fog of lust and romance when you really discover someone. But that's how you get 6 months or 2 years down the road. And then you've realized, oh my gosh, the signs were there, the red flags were there, but I just didn't catch it. So the theme song of all my programs, my calls, and my coaching is we're going to approach this from a conscious perspective to save you so much money and months, if not years or decades of time dating the wrong women.
Do you think a lot of people, guys, are on autopilot when they start dating and they're just going through the motions, like, all right, gonna meet for coffee, see how that goes, gonna meet somebody else, maybe go on a couple of dates, maybe go to, a wine bar, whatever it is, but they're not really paying attention to the person and what the person is telling them. I'm just the signals, the signs of who they really are, and also paying attention to yourself, what you really want.
Right. Absolutely. And the women are doing that too. So you have two people operating from their subconscious mind sitting at the table. And because we tend to attract the same type of people, it feels the same. And then we just get into that comfortable rut of overlooking things and overlooking the signs.
Well, you did say last time, and kind of a game changer in terms of perspective, but we look to fill voids in our lives, and then you meet somebody and the other person does, and you could fulfill. Now we have a connection here because this person's missing this is that. They connect. Doesn't mean they're mean. They're meant for each other, but at the moment it feels good and it works. But then down the line, then you realize, wait a minute, we're not right for each other. We were just kind of filling voids.
Right. So subconsciously we are looking to heal our past through somebody new. And so then, of course, you're attracting people similar to your ex, your parents, your caregivers, your family, your ex-spouse or partner. And so then you do stay in that cycle of disconnection and disillusionment because you are in the cycle. Yeah, you are continuing to attract. So if I said, go out and look, tell me at the end of the day how many red things you spotted this afternoon. But then the question I asked you at the end of the day was, how many green things did you see? You couldn't answer the question because you were so laser focused on the red.
Right.
And so we do really legit attract. And if you're not sure if you're doing it, you could see in your friends' patterns, they are attracting the same type of people. And if not, if they had a really bad experience, they're going to go one notch higher because they had a profound experience. They learned a lot. They might have filled a need or realized more on a conscious level what they needed. And so then you might go, and this is an extreme example, of course, you're going from physical abuse to he only emotionally abuses me. Or she only tries to manipulate and control me. And so you just wonder, why doesn't my friend just choose someone that really loves and respects them? Because their ego won't let them. Your ego is searching for safety and familiarity. Familiarity equals safety. And so you really can't get out of that cycle unless you start to consciously date.
How do you get to the point where you're truly conscious of what's going on? Some It may take them
Mhm.
therapy,
Yeah.
hypnotherapy to
Mhm.
figure out what happened in their past and why their
Right.
GPS is doing what it's doing now, why they're picking
Mhm.
the same wrong people for them. How do you find
Right.
that consciousness?
Well, you've really got to sit down and get present in the moment. So you're just going to sit, take some deep breaths, and you're going to write down. So last week you talked about you're going to write down your needs list and your deal breakers list. So you're really focusing on what you want. And there's something really powerful. The brain absorbs information differently when it's in writing. You're sitting down, writing it out. We're going to do an exercise today that just goes on a deeper level so you can recognize your patterns. Last week's exercise was writing about how to recognize if we're really a good match. Because yes, we might be filling each other's healed trauma spots, but that doesn't mean we are a healthy, sustainable couple.
All right. Well, we're going to do it today. Uh,
Yeah, and again, it's a simple exercise, but it takes, you've got to gather your brain cells together and sit down and just take a moment for yourself. And you're going to just make tremendous leaps and bounds from this. This is one of the exercises in my signature program because it's so deep and meaningful.
what do you think about you and me sharing our needs and our deal breakers?
Okay,
I'd be curious
absolutely.
from a woman's side. And yeah, you can look on, a dating profile, and
Hmm.
sometimes there'll be a couple little things there. You know, she might throw out like guys with facial hair and tats, just saying,
Yes, yes, right.
but you don't usually get that, and sometimes it's the
Hmm.
standard stuff. Um, has a job, is, mature,
Hmm.
not dealing with ex drama, things like that. But I'd be
Right.
curious that because now you're making me think, what the needs and what the deal
Hmm.
breakers are. What do you think? What
Yeah.
about, if we each of us throw out like three in both of those categories, what they might be based on what we've learned so far in terms of dating?
Hmm. Great.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
Who's
I'm
going,
ready for you.
who's going first?
Okay, so some of my deal breakers are I only date men with children that have been married before. And that might sound obscure, but just in my experience, I need someone that's giving, generous, family oriented, loves kids.
Okay.
So
My
that's
deal,
one of mine.
so
Yeah.
let's go back and forth. I agree
Okay.
with you on that. I do get a red flag sometimes if it says no kids, not married, never married.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know I shouldn't judge, but sometimes, and there's always going to be the unicorn out there, and there's many that
Yes.
are fantastic.
Hmm.
But I makes me wonder, um, in terms of kids, not young kids, because I was dating somebody that had a
Hmm.
6-year-old and a
Hmm.
10-year-old, and
Yeah.
it was okay, but she was so focused on her kids, as she should be. But I think she
Yes.
was overcompensating because there was no father in the picture, that she
Right.
was almost never free. There was always, oh yeah, we're going to lacrosse, we're going to football, we're going to, I'm like,
Yeah. Right.
it's just, maybe the one random day out of the week. So that would be one of my deal breakers.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
and there's a difference. I'm so glad you brought this up. There's a difference between being judgmental and discerning.
Tell me.
So, judgmental is you should or shouldn't be doing that. Discerning is that just doesn't suit my preferences or lifestyle.
Okay.
That just doesn't, we just aren't a good match. Yeah. So, I'm not judging anyone for having not had kids. I actually really celebrate people that choose not to have kids that don't want to, because I've spent a lot of years counseling kids too. And let me tell you, that's a brilliant choice. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't want people to get too hard on themselves when they feel like they're judging people, because they might not be. It might be just discerning preferences. It might be just being particular in a way that they need to be. Not like she better golf and have blue eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
just
and
crazy.
many
Yeah.
many say that even if you wanted, to do a positive affirmation, and she is
Mhm.
out there, or I found her.
Mhm.
Um, don't focus on hair color and eye color, because you
Mhm.
never know. You never know. Um,
Right. Right.
needs for me, and this is random. Somebody who likes to do fun things, and
Mhm.
and
Right.
not spontaneous, but you know, um, there's a cider house about 15 miles away from where I am right now. I like going there every once in a while. You want to go? It's fun. Always
Yeah.
live music, beer and cider. It's great food, great guac. That could be a deal breaker, like guac. Uh,
Right?
but it's fun experiences like that.
Right.
And if she has to
Right.
overthink it or there's an issue with that, it's like, "Oh, I'm done with that.
Mhm.
I've been
Right.
there, done that. Um, I have two kayaks and an old Jeep. Want to go? If you don't like kayaking,
Yeah.
I get it. It's all right. But if you've never done it, I'll show you how. Super
Right.
simple. It's fun.
Yeah.
Things like
Right.
that. That's one of my needs. Just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Want to have fun.
And same for me, someone that really likes to experience life, naturally curious. I've never done that. Want to try that? Want to teach me that? Like just experience lots of different things. I'm not a one hobby kind of girl. Like I play volleyball 4 nights a week till 10 o'clock at night. I like so many different things, physical things or cultural things
Sure.
or
Yeah.
travel. So yeah, just somebody that really has a wide variety of interests and likes to get out and about.
Yep. Big into
Yeah.
music too. Not a deal breaker, but I
Yes.
love going. I don't care. Maybe you're not into country.
Hmm.
I'm not so much, but I'll go to a
Hmm.
country concert. And I have a
Yeah.
venue right near me. Literally, I'm a
Oh,
1 minute
that's
walk to an
great.
amphitheater, and the season's just starting. And I say, we're all tailgating at my place. Everybody come by. I do get free
Yeah.
tickets. And we turn it into a party, and then we all walk down the street and go to the show. Stuff like
Yeah.
that. To me, that's fun.
Yes.
Love
Yeah.
sharing
Thank
it.
goodness live music is back after COVID.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I
Yeah.
miss that so much.
Don't care what it is. All right.
Yeah.
Deal breaker for you. What's another one?
Someone that doesn't want to, and I learned this the hard way. Okay, twice. It took me twice. Someone who really cares about their well-being, their physical and mental well-being, because I want someone to play with and keep up with me and do the things we were just talking about. But also when they realize they're in a bad place, okay, let's figure that out. And, each of our healing's a personal journey, so we can't really walk together, but we can walk side by side and help each other. But just to address it, because we all have ups and downs in life, instead of letting it just tank us, but just take care,
Yeah.
yeah, of
Uh,
ourselves. Yeah.
and as you get older, when you meet people, there's more challenges, whatever they might be,
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
opposed to when you're in your 20s and it's almost like everybody's a clean slate,
Sure. Right. Absolutely.
I don't know if it would be a deal breaker for me, but I run into lots of women with lots of anxiety, lots of,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Right.
sometimes I turn into the therapist, and I'm okay with that for the right person, but after a while,
Yeah.
it's just it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot. So I don't know how
Right.
I weed that out. And I don't know why it comes my way because I'm not looking for it
Hmm.
and I don't want to be the fixer or the helper. I am. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
empathetic,
Yeah.
but it gets to a point where it's like can't do it
Right.
anymore,
Well,
and
there's a danger zone. You feel when when you're approaching it, right? And you realize that you are getting into the, just the wrong area of becoming a therapist or being codependent, or, you're just going off the deep end. Yeah. Because of course you can't heal your partner. It's just not only not your job, it's not appropriate, and you can't.
nope.
So you just be loving and respectful, and I will support you while you heal, like with the
Sure.
therapist, your coach, or whatever. And I'll be your cheerleader. I'll be,
Yeah,
I'll be
but
your backup dancer.
ride or die. There was I met somebody, I don't know, like a year and a half ago or so. We had dated a little bit. And I knew she had anxiety, and I was like, all right, let me kind of go with this, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm on 9 different meds. I'm like, all right, nothing wrong with that, whatever works for you. But just she had issues, and that just, didn't
Yeah.
work for me. Um,
Right.
and on the
Well,
flip,
because it's not a partnership. If that's what you're seeking,
yeah,
you want it to blossom into a partnership, and you've got to be with someone that will allow that,
yeah.
or can make time for that, room for that.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with supporting somebody else as they support you. But when it gets to be
Yeah.
like this and somebody's,
Mhm.
I've even gotten women hypnotherapy. Like, let me help you. I don't,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
the therapist is done.
Fantastic. I'm off duty. My off air sign is
Yeah,
on.
yeah. But on the need side, I would say for me, a woman who is a woman but also a fun girl at the same time, where she can be
Yes.
fun. There's
Yes.
got to be a blend, and there's just something about it. I can't put my finger on it, but
Mhm.
um, there's been some dates I've been on. Was just like book club. All right, well that's great. Not my thing.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
just a playful energy because the truth is, then anything you do, you're walking down the aisle at the grocery store is fun. Like anything is fun then.
Oh,
And you have the potential. Yeah. To have a great
absolutely.
time.
And I will fully admit, I'm a man and a very responsible, somewhat successful, whatever. But I'm a 12-year-old. So
Yeah.
like, stupid things come up and I might say something. How funny is that? Whatever. So it's that kind of, call it playfulness, that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Your needs. What do you got?
Oh, travel. Like
Ah,
just wanting to explore. Yeah,
mm,
it's just wired in me. Like, and I mean, even just a day trip, like, to Lake Michigan, like just even getting away camping. I mean, we don't always have to go to Paris. We can just drive a couple of hours and,
absolutely.
hang out on the beach or go wine tasting or whatever. I just have that. I'm a
Same.
wanderlust a little bit. Yeah.
Same. And that even gets me back to one of the cider houses, 15 miles away. Just you go, or we'll go to a winery. Where I am, we have lots of wineries. Whatever. It's just, hang
Mhm.
out, just something different, take a drive, couple
Yes.
hours, whatever it might be.
Right.
Interesting, the perspective here in terms of your side, my side. There is a blend there as well.
Yes.
But the deal breaker, I guess we're all kind of looking for a lot of the same thing. It kind of looks that way, even with having somebody who has kids, that's yours. And I feel the same way. Not to say
Mhm.
that I wouldn't accept somebody who did have kids if it felt right, but
Mhm.
uh,
Right.
it's discerning again when you see that, pop up where it's like, I don't
Right.
know. I mean, I don't want to overthink this, but doesn't have kids, never
Well,
married.
and for the part B is my children are, obviously older and independent. I mean,
Sure.
I have one still at home, but they're going to have kids eventually. They both want to have children. So I need someone that also wants to like wrestle with the grandkids and do the Easter egg hunts and
Oh,
do all the silly things and roll around on the floor and be crazy with the grandkids. So if they chose not to have children, then that's
hmm.
the other part B of my life, caution, because 10 years from now, let's say when they have kids, that's what I'm shooting for, not now.
Yeah. Yep.
Later on, I want to be able to just have that be a really joyous part of our lifestyle too. When the grandkids come over, then we just have a blast and do
And
whatever.
the understanding. So even, if you
Yeah.
have a, 17, 18, 16-year-old, whatever it might be, that they understand when a situation comes up,
Right.
and
Right.
just can
Mhm.
offer some advice, some insight. Not to say you can't if you don't have kids, but it's different. It's
It's
different
a
if you
way to
don't.
see the world.
Yeah.
We have our little parenting lens on too, amongst our other lenses.
Right.
And, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And when you love kids, when you have a really big heart for kids like I do, I, I did give it a try with some guys. And it was just like, yeah, we can make time for them and comments like that. And I was just like, yeah, that's just not really the way it works. So
Hmm.
we just couldn't even align, even just conversationally. So
I
I
think
know that's kind of a weird one, but it's just mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get you. And I think I love kids because I said before, I'm a kid. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Right.
that's what makes it fun,
Yeah.
where you can just, run on the grass and, whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
any other thoughts, conscious dating, things that we didn't tackle in that category?
Yes. So what I want everybody to do is sit down again at the table with your pen and paper. That this is not your phone. You're not, you know, auto texting.
Yep.
So I want you to write down all the negative and positive qualities of your mom or your female childhood caregiver
Oh,
all the good and bad qualities of your male caregiver. So your father, grandfather, uncle, babysitter. Then I want you to do your ex-spouse or ex-partner. And then the same exercise for two other exes. And then I want you to notice the similarities. You're
gotta
going to
go.
notice a lot
Gotta
of
got
positive commonalities and a
gotta
lot of
go now.
scary dark ones.
Well,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
this is the moment of reveal,
Oh, it is. Oh,
right?
indeed. You are going to be circling these and writing down the commonalities, and it's going to scare the heck out of you. But it's going to also help you realize this is why they feel at home. This is why I'm drawn to these type of women. This is why I feel comfortable, but also a little nuts. Why I feel like I'm keep driving into insanity, and why I keep coming back to these similar things, similar patterns, similar fights. But once you put this on paper and you consciously recognize what you're doing, that gives you the power to step out of it. You watching your friends doing this, right? And you just feel for them. Your heartstrings just tug every time they meet somebody new, and it's just the same version. Or they meet somebody healthy and they can't handle it and they go back down to what's comfortable because your ego is trying to protect you from anything unfamiliar. You're gonna, if you haven't had a chance to do a lot of work yet, healthy is gonna just set off all these alarm bells. Or maybe you're the guy that keeps getting rejected because you're healthy, you've done a lot of self work, and the women just aren't ready for you yet. So don't take that on. I don't want you to feel bad about that.
Mm,
Congratulations on being there, and stay there or keep
yeah,
going. Yeah,
it-
don't let that rejection
yeah.
wreck you at all. Yeah.
She will show up at some point. But
Yeah.
wow,
Yep.
what an interesting exercise where you identify that. And I've already done that in my brain, not on paper, which is
Mhm.
so important. But I've already seen, from my mom, my dad, the connections. I already got
Mhm.
them, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's more once I
Yeah.
sit with it, more
Mhm.
will come up. And then, even
Mhm.
the X's got to connect the dots a little bit more, but I see a few of them. So
Mhm.
yeah, what a great
Sure.
exercise.
Well, and statistically, your children are going to repeat your relationship mistakes because our subconscious is developed before age 7, right? Until we proactively rewire it. And that's why one of the reasons I got divorced, I was not having my children think that was a healthy marriage. And I thought, I'm going to just have them wonder that is healthier, wonder what a good marriage looks like, than think this is, remotely a good step or something to follow in the shoes of. So
Yeah.
it's really been um, tough on my kids, of course, being divorced, but really for me, stepping back and making this conscious decision, it's really done them a tremendous disservice. So whenever you're feeling bad about divorce, think of it that way. Yeah.
Interesting perspective. I was divorced twice, and the first time, you're 100% right. The second time, um, I don't know that my kids saw anything bad, and it was kind of a surprise for them how it went down.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's different, and everybody has different views. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's when you connected the dots to your childhood, did you see why you got into that last relationship like that?
Yes, because my pendulum swung the other way, in some ways, and then stayed steady. Like I followed the patterns in some ways. So
Right.
yes, absolutely.
And my
Yeah,
parents
because
got
when you literally can't stand something about one of your parents or you see how destructive it is, you go completely the other direction too.
I think I have that, but explain it real quick.
So, like for example, I don't know, your dad's a womanizer, or yeah, we'll
Okay.
just say that that's a little capsule. And then so you might go the other way and then pick somebody that really doesn't show any masculine traits or energy because you so want to keep yourself and your children removed from the other element,
Gotcha.
or
Yeah.
drinking or smoking, or just wanting to make sure that you aren't in an environment that drove you crazy, but then you choose somebody so far the other way that you are also unhealthy now. just the other side of the spectrum.
Interesting where we're going here, because you go for the familiarity.
Yes.
But then if it's not good, then you go the complete other side, as opposed to, kind of centering in the middle, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Going too far.
Yeah. I gotta think about
and this
that.
is all subconscious protective,
Absolutely.
It's all in your, but again, we can rewire our brain anytime we want. It just takes some time and some effort and repetition, right? So when you have your lists in front of you and you turn your conscious light on or put your hat on, it can really help you then while you're looking at profiles after a first date, after a 10th date. You really have this like magical connection with someone, but when you sit down at your lists, is she meeting your needs? Does she have any deal breakers? And then you aren't wasting her time or your time, right? Because if you're with the wrong person, you can't be with the right one.
100%. I just had this conversation with a friend last night who he's been with somebody quite some time, and it's a little on the rocky side, and she's taking a job on a cruise ship from April to October, and she did a few months like for last year, and I said it's not right for you. And the reason it's rocky right now is it's almost like the setup, because she's what are you going to be doing from April till October on a cruise ship? She's going on with her life. I said, it doesn't support you. I know it's painful, but I said, just what you said. She's blocking you from finding the right person. And I think he's like 47. He's like, I can't believe I'm going to do this again. I know somebody's older who's saying the same thing. Like, I have to start all over again. I'm like, all right, well, stay where you are and he was like, he was on the ledge last night, just like, oh yeah, I can't deal with this. I'm like, yeah, well, you don't have to, but yeah.
Right. And it is really tough to end things and to start over. But the great thing about a breakup is then you get to be alone and do all the things, get yourself back, do all the hobbies and things that you have put aside for yourself, devote yourself to your time, your hobbies, your profession, and get yourself back so that you can put yourself back out there for the right woman, because you're just prolonging the inevitable. Right. And really, it's going to be much harder, like in that case, for him to watch her go off, have her own life, and then get that email one day. Right. Because she's probably not going to, be strong enough to call and break up with him. He'll get an email and then he'll really be angry and hurt, crushed, disappointed. Yeah.
There's an age difference between them. I want to say like maybe 15 years, something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It can work wonderful. But now it's almost like she's doing what she always wanted to do, I think she's, in a low 30s or 20s or whatever. Oh, I got to start making these lists.
So what is that from the Hunger Games? The odds are not in your favor. What is that? The odds are forever in your favor. Not in his case.
Yeah, they're not.
We can just diagnose that right now. It's over.
I'm trying to, I want him to see that, because we've already, not the first rodeo, they've been rocky along the way. And she did go away. So she was on the cruise ship for, maybe 3 months now, April till October. And he's doing the math. He's like, she's going to be gone for my birthday, my kids' birthdays, holidays, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, because she's doing what she wants to do. So,
well, because she's in her early 30s. That's what people in their early 30s do. I mean, I think lifestyle is a really important thing. It's tempting to date someone with a big age difference sometimes because it's so unique and different and interesting, but really your lifestyles do eventually have to match up for it to last.
Sometimes it can work, but everybody's different.
Well, you can have a big age gap and have your lifestyles match.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's just rare.
Yeah. And then that gets us into
just to button that up. It's just not common.
What's an age gap? That's another one. What is a big gap?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of good stuff today. I'm glad we circled back to conscious dating, because the list of the traits of your parents and your exes, it is the moment of truth. It's the mirror in front of you.
It is indeed. It is. And like a week from today, I'm having a free workshop to go over the 3 biggest patterns that men make that keep them from dating the right women. It's just, you've got to recognize them. You've got to just start to take in what conscious dating is. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen men stay in this pattern for decades, and that is why I'm growing my business in this way, in this direction, and for men. I'm just so tired of seeing amazing guys on the bench. They're just keeping themselves really out of the game and on the bench.
Yeah.
So I am all for getting these amazing men matched up. So yes, my free workshops a week from today, and would love to have you there just to start the noodle going, start the processing, start the recognition of what you can have.
And isn't it amazing? You could have the best dating profile, just like perfect, great pictures, description, everything else. But if you're not consciously dating, what is the point? Because you're just going to be, it's going to be Groundhog Day over and over again.
Oh yes, that's the best analogy ever. It really is. Yeah, devastating Groundhog Day.
What's your website?
It's Tamara. Oh, no, Instagram is Tamara, True Connection. My website is trueconnection.coach.
Awesome.
Yes, love to help you find someone special.
Tamara, great talking with you. Lots of stuff learned today, and I look forward next time we get together.
Yes, date number 6.
What are you doing Friday? Oh, but it's always fantastic talking with you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.